Welcome back to another episode of the Just Jana Show. This is part one of a two-part episode with my friend Jacelyn Holmes, who is an incredible performer. She is an artist. She is a vocalist. She is a songwriter, a musician. She is a creatrix in the truest sense of the word. And she has opened up so many doors for so many people. She is a world traveler and she finds herself in the most magical scenarios over and over again. And I even got to meet her in the midst of one. Jacelyn is a beacon of light. She is such a radiant being, and with a triple Leo, it is no wonder that she just absolutely radiates everywhere she goes. This part one reading, where we get a little bit into her chart, we start to open the door to the deeper questions that Jacelyn asks. We start with me asking her, I know your life is very magical, but where do things perhaps feel a little bit less than desirable? Immediately, she leans into the vulnerability and expresses two important questions. The first is she tells me that she has been celibate for 3 years and asks, where is he? And the second is, how does she find structure without killing the magic? So she knows she is an incredible manifester. Jacelyn has the capacity to manifest absolutely anything through this sparkly little way that she walks through the world. She knows that manifesting is an act of doing, and what she actually needs to do in order to manifest this man of her dreams is nothing. To stop and receive and actually let him come to her. And there is true vulnerability in this. For any performer, which Jacelyn is in the confused static versus clear signal quiz, it is hard to take off the performance, to stop acting, to stop moving and going and doing. And Jacelyn, with all of the fire in her chart, has a very hard time slowing down and allowing the receptivity. We get deeper into the femininity and the softness that is necessary in part two. But in this part, we get very deep into parts of her chart, especially her Venus in Gemini that opposes her Neptune in Capricorn. This placement told me very clearly that her fantasy of what it is she's calling in Neptune and her capacity to actually receive it are in direct opposition. Venus receiving. There is an opposition here, and there is an opportunity for her to work in the dynamic of this Venusian Neptunian energy and see how they can be in stillness together, how she can be more in her own receptivity, in her own stillness. And you'll hear me invite her into it in this episode. What I do immediately is, of course, cut past all the sparkle and get to the real question. I allow her stillness to feel like a strategy, not just surrender. And I use her chart to depersonalize and also repersonalize her patterns. I give a lot of confirmation that her knowingness is, of course, right on point. As a master manifester and a creatrix and a person who is creative for a living, she knows that she can create just about anything. So, of course, her knowingness is right on point. Her intuition is never wrong, and there is no question that she has the capacity to draw in all of the magic and the structure, as well as the divine partner, with ease. All she needs to do is use this one simple, usable gauge that she can apply immediately. An important note that I give her is that if she needs to compromise, that she is already sacrificing something she should not be sacrificing, meaning knowing if he is the one or not will be how much he doesn't ask her to dim her light. And as a triple Leo, Jacelyn is meant to be the center of attention. Anybody who knows her can confirm that she naturally draws in that attention and radiates it out to the world. She is generous and loving, and I think that you are going to absolutely love part one of this two-part episode. In this unfolding of this reading, we begin to chat about her capacity for intimacy, and that these 3 years of celibacy have not been an accident, and that each year has served a different function, has taught her a deeper, more valuable lesson about who she is, and as she says, the into me I see intimacy of connecting with herself. She says in the episode, I can feel his presence when I allow myself. She knows her signal is intact. She says, I'm no longer going to be an experience for someone, which is a reclamation, a declaring of her own power, her own light. She says, I realized in year 2, I still wasn't ready, which means that her signal is self-correcting. She knows exactly how to keep herself on track, how to be in alignment with what is for her highest good. And she asks very curiously and with a little bit of sadness, what country is he in? Clearly, her impatience, which she has been working on, is still present, wanting for the thing she wants so badly, which so many of us do yearn for, is so human, so normal, and as somebody who is working to stay in her light and not give it away for free, to be valued and seen. It is such a challenge. And I think that you are going to love the way that Jacelyn embodies this in this episode.
You're interested in
participating in your process.
Oh,
Because like for me, this is just like I'm kind of trusting, walking in and being like, okay, here you go, connect, let's go. And you've learned a little bit about me from Sardinia, our short amount of time together, but enough that you kind of like see the first impressions and sort of how someone moves through the world in a foreign space. And now you're
in a space where you are known and
now
and,
that's what I'm
and
saying,
leading
from Sardinia.
Yeah.
That was like a foreign space.
Sure.
In a work environment.
Yes.
First impressions.
Sure.
But then we got a little bit of personal downloads when I invited you to Felix Hotels. Yeah. And then now you're like in a space that
this is your home.
This is my home, my community, and yet professional from the context of why you're here. And now you've seen me in some personal settings and with people who I deeply care about and helping them with their visions while integrating my superpowers. And I'm just excited.
So, I mean, the best way that this operates is two things. One, for you to come with curiosity, and the other for you to ask questions that get answers.
Check.
Yeah, it's like
definitely here with curiosity.
I'm sure you are.
Total open.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
Childlike curiosity.
Yeah, cool.
And I like getting answers.
Who doesn't?
Which means that you have to ask really clear, embodied questions.
Yeah.
That you're maybe not afraid to ask.
One of the things that's been made clear to me in our interactions is your capacity to kind of draw in whatever it is that you need instantly. And I imagine that that has pluses and minuses. And also that you hold potentiality really well.
What do you mean by that?
Like that, that there's always a potential of something miraculous around the corner, like.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The magical path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or plot twist.
Yeah.
You're right. And I welcome that.
You hold
space for it.
Yeah.
It's like there could be something magical off in the distance or to the side or even possibly behind us, like in the blind spot. And I think that when you leave a little room for magic, then
it arrives.
Sure. It gives it the welcoming mat of arrival. And maybe that's what, like, sometimes people will say, like, you've got like this like kind of twinkle in your eye.
You do have a twinkle.
And it's a little bit like mischievous and playful
Mhm.
and but like non-threatening.
No, it's super loving. It's very, very, it is not threatening. You're like, I'm not a threat. She's not a threat.
No. And I think that is what allows people like in a bit more and what allows the magic to unfold. Is because the twinkle's kind of contagious in a good way.
Totally.
Like,
You're like, what do you believe that I don't believe that's making your world unfold the way that it's unfolding?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very inspiring. That's
Yes.
what I actually got a call this morning from someone I haven't spoken to in almost 2 years. And she said, and it was interesting because she's like, it all started from our time in Panama together when I was hired to bring my creative awesomeness to this brand in the gold and silver luxury coin alliance.
Okay.
She worked for the company. Her job was to look after me being there. Long story short, she was so inspired by the way that I was moving through my life and bringing in magic, as well as really being in touch with my playful, curious, childlike self. And that creativity inspired her. And just through our conversations or just like learning what really jazzed her and lit her up wasn't exactly what she was doing. Like it was, she was in the world, but not fully in the world. And she called to just be like, and then you sent me to see an astrologist. And she's like, I listened to that astrology reading. And this is someone who wasn't in this space, but she was curious, right? And I'm like, this is so funny. I'm about to go have
Your own
that
astrologer sit down
with me, right? And I just was like, what is the timing of this?
God's
Cool.
timing. Yeah.
And she just said, I listened to that reading. I listened to that exploration with that astrologist over and over and over. And she's like, I'm now leading in the great mystery of magical like inspiration from just
that one reading
and the experience with you in Panama before. And I thought, what is happening? I love getting those calls. Me too. Out of nowhere. Yeah. You inspired me. What's you're doing, how you're moving through life, etc. And also like the magical space of different type of programming. So here we are.
Or like not buying the programming at all.
Right. But also just being like, okay, I'll do that. Let's do it, even though I don't believe in it, right? Sure. Let's just see.
Sure.
But it has a magical seed.
Yes.
It seeds you, even if you don't believe it, and it's all woo-woo, wah-wah stuff.
My favorite.
Yeah. I mean, you can actually
I love me some woo.
You can plant a seed with these people.
I mean, that's like the whole mystery and magic of the whole cosmos is that you came here for this like beautiful, beautiful purpose, but we forget and we're not taught, we're not trained, we don't understand, we don't look at it through that lens. And so when you do look at it through that lens, something opens up and you're like, it's a permission slip, but it's also an invitation.
Yes.
Right. And so if you sort of RSVP to whatever the invitation is and you're like, I don't know what that means, but sure, I'll try it on. Usually when I give a reading, one phrase or one sentence or one takeaway sticks. And then they just go with that little invitation. It redefines everything.
Do you think that comes from a sense of like something is tapped into in the remembrance aspect?
Yes.
Because your soul, even if it's something that you, like for instance, I've said, hey dad, I got you a gift. And then it's this. And my dad's like, oh, what a adventure am I about to go on now that I don't believe in?
Sure.
But it's a gift, right? So I'm like, you can't return the. I mean, you could, but
sure. But why? But
just take the gift,
right? Go with the game,
and you know, he's a necessary, just a different type of person, and maybe a non-believer, right?
Sure.
But he also is has been pleasantly surprised many
Mm.
times by the things that he
Cool.
doesn't believe in, that planted a seed,
Right.
or it like tapped into some deeper knowing or understanding or remembering,
Uh-huh.
and it stuck with him.
Sure.
A line, a phrase, or just a feeling and
Oh my God.
confirmation. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I don't
Mhm.
believe in this at all, but
Mhm.
yet it confirms what I do believe
A
in.
soul knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's a gift. It's a blessing.
All right, master, let's go.
The first thing I want to kind of, your life is, like we've been talking about, so magical. And I'm curious where things don't feel magical for you.
I love that question right
Mhm.
off the bat. Well, my love life. There's a magic because of who this being is that I'm calling in, and I actually can feel his presence when I
Allow yourself.
allow myself to be there.
Mm.
But I would say, compared to my romantic stories that my friends and family have access to, literally dating myself around the world
Mhm.
and being very colorful with my experiences.
Sure.
I'm also a really great storyteller. So
Yes.
if you can imagine, that is better than any Netflix series is my life post or pre celibacy,
Yes.
which I will be celebrating. I think by the time this airs, it'll be 3 years.
Okay.
I was not wanting to reach that 3-year mark. I don't know why it's bothering me so much. And so
sort of
it's
like turning 40 or turning 50, you're like, "Ooh,
I
this
was
is
so
a."
excited to turn 40.
I was excited to turn 40
I don't
too,
know
but
what that
some
whole
people
thing.
hold that,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
for me, turning 30 was like
Oh, okay.
harder.
Sure.
But I would say the lack of magic has been in my love life in the last 3 years. But where it's, it's sort of like a balance here. In the lack of partnership or romance or this kind of
intimacy.
physical intimacy or just intimacy in general has brought so much magic into the intimacy and the romance I have with falling in love with myself and really finding that joy and that, being in sensuality with myself. And a lot of that has to do with what I'm creating or
Sure, we talked about that.
how the sexual energy flows,
Right.
either into creativity or anger and frustration and sexual abuse. Yeah. So an honest assessment is the lack of romance and partnership really doesn't feel so magical because it's kind of all playing in my head a little bit. And I can feel it coming, like it's something magical is coming. But yeah, that would be where I feel the lack of magic in form. As you said, like I can quickly. So I've often been like, well, hold on a second. How come I'm such a manifester? But then, like, are you not hearing the snaps out there, husband? So I have to wonder, like, oh, well, all is happening in divine timing.
Sure.
And
also, like, sometimes fuck divine timing,
Yeah, like I'm like, I remember how comfortable I was in divine chaos.
Sure.
Let me go back there. No, I don't want to go back there, right?
Right.
So yeah, I would say to answer your question, that's one place. Or think of another one. I'm still dancing with finding magic and structure. I would say they seem to be quite opposite. Structure, magic, what, but actually like real magicians.
There's a very big
They
structure.
have structure to create the magic, right?
As somebody who casts plenty of spells and works with magic professionally.
It's like baking. You got to be freaking precise.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's not going to be so nice.
Correct.
Right? It's not going to be as magical as you want it to be.
Correct.
So I'm embracing trying to find the magic within structure, which is less magical for whatever reason for me.
Specifically with the structure, yeah, you were talking about the divine chaos. You're a person who has lived by normal standards quite chaotically, right? You travel a lot, you see a lot of the world, you're here, you're there, you're up, you're down, you're over here, you're having this random experience, and these random people, you're over here now, you're with these people. And work sort of flows in the crevices of that experience and sort of moves you, but also as you move, it finds you. And both of those things sort of invent themselves and have created your existence. And so the idea of like the structure of, like a 9 to 5 is like.
Ever since I was so
Sure.
just knew that wasn't for me.
What kind of structure are you talking about? Or what kind of structure are you seeking?
My morning rituals and my evening rituals, evening being more difficult for me, more challenging for me.
Because?
Half because of the kind of fill the void of things like from actually just Netflix, right?
Okay.
To
as in like you don't want to be watching Netflix.
Not as much. Like I've gone through periods where I haven't watched and engaged in any TV or film for really long periods.
Sure.
And like don't have a subscription, don't have a TV kind of thing.
Right.
To okay, now I'm seeing myself but I'm enjoying the consuming, and it's also does tap into my creativity because I'm like, I'm researching or trying to understand what reality TV shows look like and understand because I've created something that I'm pitching in the market, you know?
Right.
But if I'm honest, I don't need to do it that much.
Right. You have a general idea about how reality
exactly,
shows work and don't need to do that much.
So little things like that, where it's like to find the structure where something simple as dim all the lights and put candles on. Wonderful evening ritual and structure for my nervous system. For the types of things that can come out in a softer way that are creative, gems that are kind of coursed out in that kind of lighting and that kind of mood. So yeah, just being able to find that structure within my delightfully chaotic. From the outside looking in, my life is probably very chaotic for the average person. But I'm like, I know exactly how it's going. And I actually don't need a calendar. It's all mapped out in my eagle eye view of my life. It's how I see everything is from an eagle eye view, big picture. And I'm talking like, I know where my movements are globally, my movements with relationships, family, friends, colleagues, possible work projects. And I see it like this big map, and I don't really need a calendar, but I have a calendar. I like to write things down. I like to know in detail what's happening, but like there's so much structure from this kind of viewpoint that it's kind of incredible how I'm able to be like, yeah, mid this month, that's where I am. This is the anchor point, and those are the relationships. And then there's room for magic here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm definitely hearing is like, don't black and white it because you don't live in black and white anyway. Which is to say that like, some nights it's an hour of Netflix and then it's an hour of candle time. Although it can be very hard to go into that matrix and then pull yourself out and be like, now let me be regimented enough with myself to step back into the container. But that's just self-discipline.
Yeah, I have a very good self-concept of my self-discipline. And I also understand that structure doesn't need to be rigid, and it can't be for me. I have like a general structure that I would like to move in, and I don't always meet it. But I think that when you get into a place of flow can look chaotic from the outside,
Of course.
but flow can really be quite structured from the inside.
Correct.
That's why it's like whatever people think about you is none of your business anyways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, what people think about you is
cool. What I'm doing doesn't work for you, no problem.
Yeah.
And actually, when people do come and stay with me or like
experience
me close up. Like we just had the retreat that we finished here in Costa Rica, and one of my friends was on the retreat. She stayed with me for a few days, and she's like, whoa, like so much is going on, but like she's like, I see like you have like a really structured flow of your life here. And I'm like, yes, but it is even just in a day-to-day space, you know?
Okay, so I want to understand the desire for you, because it sounds like from the way that you're describing it is that you've already sort of got a hold of that piece. So what is it that doesn't feel magical about that? Or what do you need clarifying about when it comes to that?
I don't know if I need clarity about it. I think that the clarity is that it's not that magical. And yet there are magical moments that happen when you get into a structured routine or ritual.
What bothers you about it? What bothers you about the fact that you're not as structured as you'd like to be?
Well, there would be the output. What's happening? What's the goal from this? But really, the goal is to find moments in my day where just being and existing is enough. And when you're someone who likes to be doing, be more, is naturally more in their masculine, essentially, when I've realized that where I'm actually in my biggest amount of creative powerhouse is when I'm in my feminine and soft and more still and in these kind of rituals and just being. That's when a lot of the magic does happen. So it's about finding the structure that is cultivating the output of that magic. However, not all structure feels that way.
No. Of course, because
It's not really it's not really about solving anything. It's just about that deep trusting and knowing that, okay, when I turn down the lights and put on candles, that allows me to, and then from that place, maybe something will happen, or maybe it won't. And what I just needed was to start winding down in a structured way that is proven to work for most people and trying it consistently.
I mean, do the simple thing. Set an alarm. You go to bed at, let's say, here in the jungle, I go to bed like 9:30.
Yeah.
At the latest. So
exactly. And I'm tired because I went to bed at like 10:30 because I was inspired by something.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 11. What am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
Whereas when I used to live in the city in Toronto,
Oh, sure. It could be 3 a.m. and then you're like, everything's
because
up.
you're so wired in a different way there.
Yes.
Yeah. But my least magical place is the lack of a partner, the lack of that connection. And I just think of like how it's totally on the other side. And like actually I've like really embodied purity. Purity of the mind, purity of the body, purity of even the way I speak about it is very pure. But it's also so on the other side of the spectrum of where I was coming from.
Sure.
And what my appetite was back then. And like why I decided to become celibate in the first place. And then now it's led to 3 years. So yeah, that was my initial answer. It's like it doesn't really have a lot of magic. Like when you compare it to the rest of the parts of my life.
Sure.
Zero magic.
You're like, it's the Sahara Desert on every frontier.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing cooking. I'm being told to invite you to ask some questions about it. Ask some questions about it. There's availability for some answers here.
One of the questions I asked myself and some of the answers that came up were interesting, but I'm not sure. It's like, do you trust that answer sometimes when it's really so practical, right?
Okay.
One of them is like, and I want to preface this where it's like, actually, I don't want to be the one that goes looking for and searching for and not was why this question came up, but also why I was like, oh, that's a totally different place to be moving from. And actually, it's about stillness, letting him come to me. And that's the place that, just how I talked about structure, is harder for me to do. It's more challenging. So one of my questions was, well, where is he? What country is he in? You know, where is he? And you know, this, I'm like, yeah, that's a great answer. I'd like to know. And then I'll just go there. And it's like, no, it's so silly, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like where he is it's such a gaslighty answer. Like he's in quantum time and space. You know, like he's out there.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And like, you know, even if I said, okay, he's in wherever, Timbuktu.
He's in the desert where you're literally
Wherever
he
he
is.
is. Exactly. He's somewhere. He's, you know, we're all in some kind of desert.
Right.
But yeah, wherever he is, it would be ludicrous to assume that he's stationary in that space, waiting for you in one place, because you are not a person who remains in one place for too long. Even though you do come here or go where you go and land for a time, you move. I
move.
You do move. You do move. It's sort of like catching raindrops. You know what I mean? Like if you can reach, but as soon as you reach, you've missed it, and then you go over here. You know what I mean? Like, and that is the energy of it. It's like there is a need for you to find a place to be for longer. That when he moves, he can move through where you are, so that you're not like,
ships passing in the wind. Yeah.
Right. Or even like, you know, like in the 90s, there was a show, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And they would show the map.
Yes.
And she would go here, and then they would follow behind. But by the time they got to where she was to the next place, you know, and it's sort of like that energy. Like when the coming together does happen, it'll be like I was in this place at that time. Oh, I was there 3 months later. Or like, oh, I was there 2 months before that. You know what I mean? Like there was that, there will be that kind of energy. I don't know that I'll have been to all of the places that you've been to necessarily, but that he's clearly not somebody who is stagnant in his life, because that would be unattractive to you. Somebody who lives in one place all the time, you will be bored.
Yeah.
Right. That's not your partner.
Yeah, no, I also, like, I'm not on dating apps. I don't think that that's where my person is going to be. No. I mean, I was in the past, but, and I also just decided I'm no longer going to be an experience for somebody. And the moment that I took that off the table, that's when it became very clear to me that what I am calling in is at a completely different realm than what I've been used to or settling for, or et cetera. Allowing, exactly. And also, yeah, I would say, okay, so like questions, like that was where I was like, okay, this was the type of silly questions I was asking before, because I feel like there is a bit of silliness to them, because it's like really, it's moving from an energy that is like, right, versus just being, it's like the old thing that people say, you are in your own awesomeness and doing the things that light you up, and when you least expect it, that's when you're going to meet somebody, right? Sure. And I'm just like, from a person who has an old impatient pattern, imagining how much patience I have had to cultivate in these 3 years. That I still am like, what's going on? You know, I don't even wear a watch, but it's a freckle plastic hair.
The crystals are saying, exactly. Yeah,
I'm just like, okay. And then when I was like, woohoo, I reached the 1 year. That was my commitment to myself. Okay, where are you? I'm ready. And then I realized in the second year, you're not ready. And actually you need to fall in love with yourself again, and and then other questions are like, I feel like some of my questions are really childlike. Like, God, when will I know when I see him, feel him? And that's why I'm really trying to like feel him before. Like, what does Jacelyn feel like when I'm in his presence, when we're together? And, a sense of feeling like at home, really protected, safe, supported to just like shine, and really playful, goofy inside jokes, and then in a moment, it's like really deep, connected conversation and relating, and that there's a sense of infusion of both our individual ways of being, that when we infuse, we create something that is profound for this world together on a mission that I'm not even sure I even fully understand or know right now. But I know that when that person comes, their field and my field ignite, that we'll know what it is that we're going to create. And it could be simply as like just creating life. You never know, but
which is, by the way, a miraculous thing. And those who create life, we love and respect you.
We do.
We've not done it.
We love and respect you.
Yeah.
Not done it. And maybe it's I've not done it yet. Maybe it's I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
With this person, or with, I can't imagine doing it alone, but a lot of people do it alone.
Yeah. God bless those people too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's like the questions are very like, how will I know? Or what's going to change in me? That when you operate for so long as an independent person, and you understand that going in relationship, even in friendship, family, there is a compromise. There is a give and take. So, and I've learned the hard way, or in past relationships, where if I dimmed my light too much, or I really found, because I'm so adaptable, because I travel and move a lot, if I adapt too much to their lifestyle and essentially sacrifice and give up, this is like, this
recipe
builds
for disaster,
resentment, and dimming my own brightness, all this kind of stuff that does not work. No. So it's like, the question I've asked myself is sort of like, what am I willing to change, let go of, and compromise on? And also just like, I don't even know what that is, because you don't know until you meet that person or cross that bridge with that person. This is what I'm being asked to do, or what's required of me. Am I willing to do that, to continue down this path with this person? Right. I think for me, that's just a general curiosity of like, I wonder what I'm going to shift and adapt in relationship with this specific person.
Yeah, one of the things that's like very clear is like, the right person, the answer to that question is like, not much, because the ask will be so small. The compromise will be simple, but the sacrifice will be small. And so it's almost like that's the gauge. If the sacrifice is being asked of you, then that's the no. Whereas, but this is part of where the calibration of self is, to understand how much leaning in is comfortable, and then how much are you starting to just fall over.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the essential idea of balance.
Right.
How much can you bend into that posture without completely falling?
Right. And so, what will it be when you can move in the world as you choose? and you do so colorfully. As a like triple Leo, which you are, because you've got Mercury, Mars, and the sun there.
Triple Leo.
You have what's called a stellium. You've got a nice little collection of personal planets and the sun there. And, Leo is the performer, which you are, right?
Totally.
Leo is the
artist, performer.
Yeah. The dramatist, the one who likes to, and Leo is the sun, likes to be seen. And the universe revolves around the sun.
I mean, you're saying
my Leo rising is also saying it if you want to know. But no, like that's really how it is, right? In order for you to manifest all this magic, you have to like let the world revolve around you in some way.
Yep.
Right.
But I also love manifesting for my friends and family.
Yes,
and
you are an incredibly generous person in this way.
Co-creator, coach.
Yes. You are not you're not selfish with your manifestations. I can attest to this.
That's why you're here.
That's right. Can confirm. Well, it's one of the reasons that I'm here, but it's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. I take an immense amount of joy in that.
Yeah. Well,
but that's also what gives me the risk of in past relationships where I've seen my own patterns and behaviors run out, where it's like I will lean too much into their dreams, they're this, because I love them. So that's why one of my questions was like, I wonder, because of the wisdom that's I've captured over those last 3 years of being totally into myself and into me, I see intimacy with myself, that I am like, I'm so curious about what level of discernment I'm going to have when I'm being asked to either overtly asked to shift and compromise and change in order to keep moving forward with this individual that is my soul match. But also, like, what kind of discernment am I going to bring differently so I don't fall into old patterns, because that's what I've done in the past.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that's definitely being illuminated in your chart about it, which is why I'm looking at my phone, you have Neptune and Venus in opposition. So you've got Venus in Gemini and at the 27th degree, and then you've got Neptune in Capricorn, and they're almost exactly in opposition.
What does that mean? I don't know anything.
We're gonna get to it. Let me promise I'm going to explain what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm okay with not knowing things, and
Not
this
really,
whole
though.
world, I gleefully say, I don't know.
Sure.
Totally have no understanding,
Yeah,
really. Like,
yeah.
yes, I understand planets and the basics of astrology, but totally ignorant.
Well, we could go through bits and pieces of your chart here, but the thing that is answering your question right now as I'm looking, because Neptune is like a really important planet for you in your chart. You've got a number of different aspects coming from it. If you look, there's Neptune here. I'm not going to show I could show your chart without your birthday.
With these people.
Yeah. But, you've got Neptune right here in direct opposition to where Venus is. You see that little red line there?
Yeah.
That's the opposition. And then you can see you've got a bunch of other lines that all sort of come out of here. And it's an apex. There's a bunch of you've got a lot of squares, a lot of trines. Squares are these hard lines.
What does that mean in your chart when you have a lot of
just the way that the planets are speaking to one another? It's just the way that it's their relationships. So squares are harder relationships. Things can feel more challenging. And trines and sextiles are a little bit more gentle. They communicate a little bit easier. Oppositions are also challenges, right? When something is opposed, it can feel oppositional.
Yeah.
And so these two in opposition, the energy here, Venus is our femininity. It's our softness. It's that thing that you were talking about earlier, wanting to really like drop into gentle,
softness,
feminine,
stillness, receiving.
Right. And it is in opposition to the way that you fantasize and dream. Neptune.
Totally.
Right.
there's like rarely ever me being like, I know, I'll just sit and receive. It's actually, I know I'm going to do, create, build, you know? Yeah. And the way that I dream is definitely from more masculine.
Yeah, well, it's that's the
So that's what that means when
you're in Sagittarius here,
Neptune and Venus
is
across in opposition. That's what that means.
That's right. That's right.
Interesting.
And so the dynamic there is like the dream of who he is and what it looks like and how it should come to you is challenged, and in challenge with that receptive part of you. And so, a part of how the arrival happens is like there is a need for you to let go of what that fantasy looks like a little bit. And, some of those easier aspects that are coming from it, notably are Pluto and Mercury. Pluto is our collective energy. It's our collective consciousness. There's no question. You're correct. That inkling that you will create something together for the greater good is that Plutonian energy. It's the thing that's that thing that you're fantasizing about a lot, is like, I know that when he arrives, we make something. Here we are, all of us collectively creating the new world where we're in a place of something's got to be different. We have to behave differently, blah, 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 blah.
Something needs to be different.
Right. And so you're like, if he doesn't help me to make it different, then he's not for me. And that's correct. And there does need to be this kind of communicating about it, Mercury, and thought process about it. The way that they're sharing it with me is like, you've been saying year 2 was, I'm not nearly as receptive as I think I am. And so I'm going to practice my femininity more, and then he'll arrive. Right? Year 1, it was like
ish. Yeah.
Year one was, I'm not pure enough. And year 2 was, I'm not receiving enough. I'm not in my feminine enough.
Yes. Essentially, though, that was my unfolding.
Thank you so much for watching part 1 of this reading. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe. And if you feel inspired, if something in this touched you, if you've been curious about starting a celibacy journey for yourself, if you've ever had one, if you are in the midst of one, if you have your divine partner, if you are still seeking that person, comment below. We love to hear your feedback. We love to hear how these episodes resonate with you. So feel free to leave your comments below. In this episode, you heard Jacelyn basically says, if I stop moving and creating and dazzling, the magic stops. So I keep going, and that's exactly why he cannot find me. And she's right. Next week, we are going to get even deeper. We're going to go deeper into her chart. We're going to get more into that main character energy that is so innate for her. We're going to talk about feminine power and the absolute magic of receiving. And we're going to get deeper into this question for her about partnership, intimacy, and really overcoming self-doubt. I hope that something in this episode showed you how unbelievably freeing it is to be as vulnerable as Jacelyn was. I hope that Jacelyn being just Jacelyn helped you to feel like you could be a little bit more you. I am just Jana, and I am so grateful that you are here. See you next week.
You've just listened to the Just Jana Show. Whether you sat with me through a live reading or just let me talk my shit to camera, I hope something I called out landed for you. Share with me the one thing that shifted or a question you've got in the comments, or send this episode to someone who deserves to stop shrinking their light. If you're enjoying this kind of energetic reprogramming, please like and subscribe. If you want me to read beneath the surface of your life, apply to be a guest and get a live on-air reading at the link in the show notes. I'm just Jana, and I'll see you next time.